Liam Deacon back from Defund the BBC. So if we got rid of the BBC then, Liam, we would save billions, wouldn't we?
We individually, we'd save a lot of money, and I think that we'd trigger a boom in broadcasting across the country, because the whole sector would no longer be suffocated by, this really sluggish, awful organisation. But yeah, I was just talking about this story that you highlighted, which I think, the Jeremy Vine angle is just the hypocrisy of the man's amazing. And the thing that really got me is this story was splashed across the BBC website. And it's essentially, the essence of the story is an organisation called the Wealth Tax Foundation calls for, guess what, a wealth tax. And I was just thinking, imagine if there was an organisation called the Low Tax Foundation and they called for a low tax. I mean, it just wouldn't even be a story, would it? Like, no one would take notice. But because this is the sort of story that really gets those producers going at the BBC, they were the first to run it. And before you know it, all of the media is going and taking an interest with it. And I was just going through the write-up tonight, and, it's only right at the bottom, there's a quote from the Adam Smith Institute saying anything remotely critical about this idea, which it's quite extraordinary. This would be, and the BBC doesn't mention this, this would be the biggest tax raid, if this happened, in British history. They want to take 1% of the wealth of 10 million people, 1 in 5 people in the country. And that would mean even 500,000 people were probably left with the prospect of selling their homes just to pay it. Yeah. And this is pensions, everything would be included. It would be devastating. And the BBC make it sound all rosy and nice, like it would be, the solution to all our problems. And, we at Defund the BBC, you totally recognise that a lot of people around the country will agree with this. But what I think people on both sides of the divide can agree on is they want balanced reporting on this. They want to hear both sides of that story. And I just don't think you're getting that on the BBC, like with so many things.
Why has the BBC been, when it first started, we first started...
Well, tell us about that, James, in the 1930s. What was it like?
Shut up. When radio first started, it was a commercial station, and then they thought they would never make money that way, and the BBC started, basically. But why has it been allowed to get to such a huge situation?
Because it's loved, isn't it? Like the NHS, it's got this fake sort of...
Yeah, but why? I mean, I don't understand.
Anti-BBC, it's sort of that,
Well, the thing is, it's not actually that loved anymore. I mean, it's the least trusted in terms of impartiality of all the major broadcasters. Recent polling has shown, and it's really it collapsing. But there's sort of this self-perpetuating, self-congratulatory loop within government, within these big left-wing lobbying organisations, and within the BBC, where they're constantly telling us how essential it is for our public life. And then the BBC does a favour in turn. So stories like this wealth tax story come about because, and it's anyone who's unfortunate enough to me to have listened to Radio 4 for as many years knows there'll be a story in the morning where a left-wing organisation will call for more money for their cause. We need more money for our cause. Well, of course you do. And then the BBC will make a huge story about people wanting more money. And then left-wing politicians will stand up in Parliament and say, haven't you seen this on the BBC? And then guess what? The Tory government gives in and gives this organisation more money. And you have to sit back and wonder who we're being ruled by. Are we being ruled by the BBC and Labour who lost the election? Or are we being ruled by a Tory government? They're going to stick up to this sort of, this controlling loop of self-serving media people. Because these, they're a lot of the same people that work in the civil service and party. They all go round and round and round, and it doesn't seem to bring anyone any advantage.
Liam, can you answer me this? I mean, I applied for the job of Director General of the BBC last time, and I never even heard back.
No.
James, I think you would have been a fantastic Director General, I have to say, but it's just not going to happen because you're bold enough to have an opinion that falls outside of the little bubble that they all live in. And this story just really does highlight it,
But they've got that new boss, haven't they? Who's meant to be all different and changing everything. Is that all a load of bunkum?
Tim Davies, Sir Tim Davies, to you and I, I mean, wow, if we think he's going to bring the organisation down to earth, we've got another thing coming. I mean, I've read a few articles about Sir Tim Davies. And, he got up and he said that he was going to, give people a ticking off for saying things on Twitter. But he didn't really look to the root of the problem. He's going to tackle the symptom, not the cause, right? What you might tweet. He was not actually going to tackle the root of the problem. That there's a one type of person that works at the BBC, and the reason some of them say batty left-wing things on Twitter sometimes is because that's how they all think. Well, if you're going to change that, if you're really going to get to the root of that, you need to start hiring working-class people who didn't go to private school, people who have voted for Brexit, people who have voted for Boris Johnson, and they're not going to do that. He just wants to hide the problem, really. That's his only solution, is deleting tweets. I really have no faith in it. And he is a lot. He's been at the BBC for decades, this guy.
He's not new.
Table.
No, he was the corporation top. He was the
he's not
commercial
not new.
side.
He's just the next one they could shove into the job.
Exactly.
And then he'll probably be pensioned off in a few years as well. It just seems a shame because the BBC are resting on the laurels of what they did during the Second World War, and that is really basically what they're doing. And people say, I have a friend of mine, and if she's listening, she'll be throwing things at the radio, who say, yeah, but you don't get dramas made anywhere like you do on the BBC. Well, you do.
I mean, look at Zoe Ball. She was on 600 grand. They gave her £1 million pay rise.
Yeah,
£1 million in one hit.
And she's about the dullest person I've ever heard on. Sorry, Zoe, but
if it was Johnny Ball, that'd be a different matter.
Johnny Ball would be
brilliant,
great, but Zoe, you're really dull. And Jeremy Vine today, who does 2 shows and then suggests in a light-hearted manner, I know it wasn't serious, can't we send a sort of SAS squad into Philip Green's to get the money off him?
Oh God!
If I'd said that, I'd be in real trouble. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say that because that's a rather stupid thing to say, even though it's a joke. Yeah. But I just get annoyed. I watch Jeremy Vine occasionally and think, because I have been on a few. I won't be on again, obviously, but and maybe some of it is sour grapes. I don't know. Yeah. But everybody on there is extremely left wing. Well,
except James Max. He's not.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He's like one of the establishment.
Yeah, here's the thing that I really see about that. I mean, I don't really mind if that is Jeremy Vine's view, right? He can be a left-winger, he can have these opinions, but what really makes it annoying is the fact that Jeremy Vine is up there at the BBC claiming to be impartial. He's saying that calling the squaddies, this is, I'm really going to go for Philip Green, all these kind of things, while simultaneously saying, I am a balanced opinion for the nation to follow here.
Typical BBC, that is, yeah.
And that's a lie, isn't it? Everyone watching can see that this guy has a strong opinion on one side of that argument, and he can't keep claiming to be impartial. And I think what we actually need, the real solution to this, is to end this sort of fake impartiality that the BBC represents so much, and actually have real people with honest views, giving their honest opinion. And I think that would, people watch the telly and they think, I disagree with him, I agree with him, and it would end this.
Like Andrew Neil, but they got rid of him.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, it's so difficult if you pretend to be middle of the road, and we have had, and we are supposed to be middle. We're not supposed to have opinions. So
we have different presenters. Some are, it's different.
Yeah, but also, this is a talk radio station, stroke TV station. There's a phone line there, and if you want to disagree, pick up the phone, come on the air, and tell us we're talking rubbish. And I'll give you a few minutes to insult me. I'm not going to cut you straight off. Well, not unless you're really offensive.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's how you get balance, surely.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only way. I mean, I think that when you actually think about it, like the arrogance that you've got to have to claim that you know exactly where the middle ground is on all issues that cover from science to politics to Brexit. If you say you know where the middle ground is in all these issues, you're saying you understand them all. And the BBC, I'll tell you what, they do not understand everything, far from it. And I think actually you're right. Like people want, I mean, this talk radio is booming right now because people come here to hear, people giving honest opinions.
An argument. People having an argument.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Tell me, from your point of view, completely different. What do you think about the furore over Kay Burley? I mean, what a non-news story, really.
I know. Again, though, you know, Sky News are like the BBC. They're bound by this interpretation of impartiality, which I think they've got wrong. But I think the thing about Kay Burley is a lot of these presenters have been very hectoring about the lockdown. You know, I don't know specifically about what she's been saying about it. They've been telling us working people, they need to go out and earn a living. They've been making them feel guilty for getting out and about, and maybe abiding by restrictions that are costing them a lot of money. And there's been a lot of hectoring. Kay Burley's certainly known for it. And so when we see someone like this so flagrantly flouting, it's that hypocrisy that gets people.
Yeah.
I can't say I know the details of her reporting, but
yeah, but you shouldn't cloud it because people don't like her is why they've had a go at her. They haven't looked at it in a neutral way, have they, really?
And she is quite open about her views, and we can all disagree with her. I disagree with
But she
most
did call
of
for
her
Cummings
views.
being fired, didn't she? Did she?
Well, yeah, but, that I would rather see people doing that.
He's a politician.
So-
he wasn't,
so-
but he was sort of was. Yeah.
So we can have a go. And the idea, I don't know whether it's my view, but I think since Sky changed hands recently, I think they're becoming... they're becoming very similar to the BBC with commercials, aren't they?
They are. We've got a real problem in this country. Since they were taken over by Comcast, I can barely tell the difference now if I'm watching Sky or the BBC, and it's just this big blur of sort of just they're dull, but they manage to simultaneously be dull, but also really one-sided. So you're infuriated, but also bored.
Well, we knew a lot of the paper reviewers, and a lot of them were got rid of at the change. If they didn't fit the right,
I wasn't got rid of. I refused.
Well, no, you got on a show, didn't you? That's why you couldn't do it.
I actually think that this is a problem, and YouTube are beginning to sort of edit things out they don't like as well, and various other social media platforms. And I think this is a very worrying thing.
Well, why do they have the judgment? Why are they the ones who judge what's right and wrong?
Well, they don't do it themselves, do they? They've got,
they do.
Got some sort of computer thing in.
Very recently, YouTube actually have come under Ofcom's control.
Really?
So there's a new piece of European Union legislation called the Audio Visual Directive. And Boris Johnson's government brought it into UK law with Theresa May's so-called online harms agenda. So even though we've technically left the EU, a little bit of EU legislation has brought in this audio-visual directive by the EU, which now means that Ofcom is regulating, well, actually, no, it'll be Ireland that regulates YouTube, actually, their version of Ofcom, because YouTube is based in Ireland. It's just this stupid system. And then Ofcom are now regulating, I think, Vimeo and a few that are based in the UK. But, I mean, there really is a concerted push now by Ofcom and these sort of mainstream organisations to bring that really exciting new online broadcasting world under the regime, the boring regime that we've got now. And I think that push has really got to be resisted.
I don't think it's possible, though, is it?
I don't know. There's so many independent, exciting people on YouTube and Facebook, independent broadcasters giving independent views. And I think that is something we've got to fight for, I think if they try and bring this into the big mainstream blob and ruin that for a lot of people, there will be a backlash. I mean, whether or not I don't think they'll manage to bring their sort of impartiality rules in, but there is definitely a move to see that happen. But I'm really glad to see Talk Radio move into sort of video online. And what you guys are doing for literally a fraction, 100th of the price of the BBC, producing interesting visual content. And the reason you're able to do that is technology. Technology's moved on. The BBC is basically, it's a relic, it's a fossil, and I think if they don't wake up to the fact that technology more than anything, we can talk all day about how people are annoyed about different issues and this and that, but at the end of the day, it's technology that are going to make them completely irrelevant. I mean,
it already is, isn't it, amongst the young?
Exactly.
I hate to break up this love fest, Liam, but I've got to take a commercial break. Thank you for your time. I'm sure we'll talk again before long. Liam Deacon from Defund the BBC and various other views he has. You want to